Mr. Wallace,
Yes, sir.
Council President for the City of Mount Vernon and also a candidate for the Mayor of Mount Vernon, June 25th. That's the date, right?
Yes. Yes.
And everything has been working well, campaign is going well,
Yep.
correct?
Yes.
So just as an opening statement to our audience, tell them why you're running and why you think you are the man for this job.
Well, I'm running because I understand how government works, when a lot of people don't. One thing I know is that what Mount Vernon has been getting in the past with a lot of the elected officials is not working for the city of Mount Vernon. So it's time to, put somebody in there that has the integrity to clean this up and to really move forward and actually get us back on the right financial track. Somebody who's a proven business development person, someone who is a job creator. Those are the things that Mount Vernon needs, and we just haven't been seeing that in the past. So that's what got me to throw my hat in the race, because I know how to do it right.
So, Mr. Wallace, let's say you are elected
Yes.
and today's your first day on the job. What are the very first things that you're going to be tackling? What's the most on your list priority ones?
Well, first thing I will do is I'm going to go in and check all the books, because I want to make sure we have an idea of what we have and where we are financially. Because right now, we still don't have an idea, because we're still waiting for the books to be closed and the URA and IDA, and we're looking for things to get audited, and in the water department. So we really need to know where our money is. So those are the things I need to focus on first, and find out what kind of fiscal position that we are in at the moment. I know we don't have our bonding because we lost that bonding rating, and I'm working hard to try to get it back right now. So those are the first things to tackle.
Now, Mr. Council President, I have to tell you that I hear from a lot of people out there that this thing that we're seeing in Mount Vernon nowadays, it's a little bit of a personal thing. Is it personal or is it business?
For me, everything is business. I mentioned to people when I ran for city council, I said, I'm not going there to get a job. I'm going there to do a job. So I'm not here to try to make all the friends, by cooperating with what's going wrong. I want to make sure that we point out all of the things that are failing the taxpayers and, correct those things. And sometimes people are a little upset and disappointed with that, because they benefit by leaving things the same. And it just can't run like that, because it's not working for the taxpayers and it's not working for the people. So what we have to do is we have to make sure we turn those things around.
Now, there is some talk around that there is a lot of money missing. Or let me change, not missing, but unaccounted for.
Absolutely.
Bad loans, things that people don't know where the money went, loans that kept on being given to people that did not pay the prior loan. Once you become mayor, if you are elected, and you see that that is in fact truth, what would be your steps? What would you be doing?
Well, if that is all true, and I'm looking into a lot of that now, we will have to take corrective measures to make sure that all of those situations are corrected. And I know there are people that owe the city of Mount Vernon money, and we intend to collect that. There's also a lot of people we owe money, and we intend to rectify that and make sure that we clean that up as well. But going in, I'm going in with a mop and a broom and a bucket, and it's cleanup time, and we're going in there to make sure that we can get our financial situation and status back on track, and change the way we do business, because it just doesn't work. I heard people loud and clear as I go around campaigning, and it's all the same, and I hear you all loud and clear. It's just very simple, fix it up, clean it up, and make us proud again, and that's what I intend to do.
And that's what you hear people saying. What's the most or the biggest complaint from the people of Mount Vernon when they approach you? What is the thing that they talk the most?
Taxes. A lot of people are upset with the taxes because taxes are high and service is low. Mount Vernon pays per capita the highest taxes in Westchester. Westchester is the highest tax per capita in the United States. So that makes Mount Vernon the highest tax place in the United States. That has to change. because the services does not meet the amount of money that most people are paying. And a lot of them, a lot of the money that was paid out is because of bad deals and you know, bad business choices that went on, you know, especially with development and the IDA and just selling our city away for nothing and giving it off to everyone.
Sorry to interrupt you, but those bad deals, or are we talking about bad deals that have been going on for many prior administrations,
Absolutely.
or this particular, the current administration?
This particular administration just follows suit to what has been going on. But this has been going on for the last 20, 30 years. So it's not something that's just new right now. You know, if you look and dig into the problem, and I tell people the same thing. I say, look at where Mount Vernon was 30 years ago and its path, okay, and look at it now. Are you better off now than before? So a lot of people, they get it because it's seen the steady decline, you know. And if it's going downhill and we continue to do the same thing, it's just another form of insanity, you know. And I'm making sure that we don't do that. It's time to turn this ship around and sail in a different direction.
Now, Mr. Councilman, we see all the things that are going on in Mount Vernon today, with the controller, with the council, with you and the mayor. If you were the mayor, how would you address those things in order to prevent your administration, if you are elected, from happening?
Well, there's a difference. You know, this mayor that we have now doesn't work with either council or the controller. He's a runaway mayor, or a rogue mayor, who does what he wants to do. And that's the problem. It's been the problem from the start. We've been trying to work with him all the time. You know, things happen. He does things, signs agreements, going to a lot of things without council permission or approval, through the council or through the board of estimates. So that is a problem. When you're just going out and running out beyond your scope, that's a problem, you know, and we're seeing it right now.
Are you saying that the link has been broken? There is no communication between council and the mayor's office?
Whenever the mayor does something, we find out about it after he does it, not before. So usually when you're going to do something as the mayor, it requires legislation. You would get legislation, and the legislation that we put together is not only you know, for him or for the event or whatever it may be, it's to protect the city, you know, because if you don't have any legislation and we don't map this out right and things are happening and know it, you know, you jeopardize the insurance, you know, on certain things. We want to make sure that the city's always covered and taken care of, and you know, you just can't do things recklessly.
Now, let's move on to education. How is the state of the education in Mount Vernon, and what problems do you see with it, and what would you do to resolve them?
Well, we really don't have say over the school district. So, but I plan to work hard with the school district, and I think the school district has made a turn around the corner for the better. I see a lot of things where they're going with the 2020 vision. I'm excited about it, and I see it working. So they are on the right track. So what it comes down to at this point, as being mayor, is to work hand in hand with the school district to help them with whatever they need and vice versa, so we can make a better school system, so we can get after school programs in place that works with the school district and the city, you know, and create a real partnership to work together. That will make a big change.
Now, crime is a problem for the people of Mount Vernon.
Jobs.
So is crime.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to jobs.
Yeah, but I always say, in order to reduce crime, the best way to do it is by employing people, getting those people into work, by creating businesses. Mount Vernon is run by 12% of Mount Vernon is business. 88% of taxes is paid off of the backs of the homeowners.
Okay.
That stuff has to change. You create jobs and you put people to work, and I've been doing this for quite some time now. Over the last 10 years, I've employed and got over 1,000 people hired in jobs and trained well over 1,000 people. I know it works because I take the kids off the school, off the streets, and those who drop out of school and those who come back from prison. And we train them in construction, and this is something that we could be training in a lot of different fields. So I do team up with other organizations and other companies outside of the construction scope, and they come in and do things and train, and we get these guys to work. And the more of them you get off the street, the better we will all be, because at the end of the day, these are people. They're going to need to feed their families. They're going to need to eat. They're going to need to purchase things and clothing for themselves of survival. What's a better way than to give them a job? And what I find out about it by doing over the last 10 years, and I know it works, they start to create self-respect for themselves. And unless you could respect yourself, how could you respect others?
I agree with you that jobs and crime are very well connected.
Absolutely.
If you have a job,
Absolutely.
you don't have a tendency to commit a crime to get money for whatever things you need,
Right,
because you have a job.
There you go.
Okay? But there is tons of people that they just don't want to work. They want the easy way out. And crime, it's a problem. Okay, regardless of how you want to look at it, jobs, this, but crime's still a problem. And the people in Mount Vernon, even though it's reported that crime is going down, but there is a lot of people in Mount Vernon that don't feel that way. That feel like a lot of crime, especially murders, are not being resolved. There is a backlog.
Absolutely.
Okay? How do you see that, and who do you blame for that?
Well, I'm not going to point fingers and blame anyone, but I know crime is falling down, and I know why crime is falling down. You know, it has a lot to do with zoos just being shut down in our neighborhood, because there were so many calls, over 200 and something calls a year, just for zoos rendezvous. So as we turn around our community and start to change the context of how we operate as a community, the context is what is going to dictate the content that it encompasses. We first must do that, because we have to see ourselves as better in order for us to be better. And that is not what we have been doing in the past. Because if you can't see it, people are a product of their environment, you know, and that is what ends up happening with folks. And if you set the bar low, people will stay low. If you set it high, people will rise to the occasion. I see that all the time. I know it works that way. So that is something that I'm big on, making sure we change that context of how people see us and perceive us, you know, because as I say all the time, we are to others who we show ourselves to be. It comes down to who are we going to be, and nobody has ever thought about setting the bar and the table for that. You know, when you drive into some of these other communities, your behavior changes, different from when you drive into Mount Vernon. That has to change. That's because you see Scarsdale as one way, and you see Mount Vernon as one way. So you behave in Scarsdale differently than you do in Mount Vernon.
I think you're going to have a hard time, because that seems like a problem with the mindset.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a mindset, but you have to set the context. You know, that's what sets the mindset. If you're going to a fancy restaurant and it says jackets required, are you going to walk in there
T-shirt
with a T-shirt and jeans? No, you're not, because you know you're not going to get in. You're going to come back to that restaurant if you really want to get in with a jacket. You know, that is setting the context of how things are supposed to be. The content is you walking in with your jacket.
I get it. Now, what about the police structure? Are you happy with the way that the police structure in Mount Vernon is at this moment?
No. I've always said that. We have wonderful police. I think we have the best police force in all of Westchester County. I know that because the young people that come in are energized, and Mount Vernon is one of the most difficult places. It's battleground zero of Westchester. So those who come here to train in Mount Vernon, I would put them up against any other town or village or city inside Westchester County. So they're great. I have no problem with them, but I do have a problem with the leadership.
So
on how the leadership
that's what we talk about.
Is doing.
We not talk about the police patrolman on the street. We talk about the leadership, those that set examples, those that set guidelines and policies. That's what we talk about. So you're not happy. What would you change?
Well, I would change those at top, in the top section of leadership. First of all, I always say the same thing though. We still have a garbage man problem, you know, and running our police station, you know, and that is a big problem. It's
gone, right?
No, he's not gone.
You sure?
I'm sure, because you see him in the motorcades and all around town with police and hanging with the police and wearing police patches and everything.
Who
on
are
his
you
jacket.
talking about? You want to name somebody?
Absolutely,
Who
Joe
is it?
Spezio. I don't have a fear of this man at all.
But I was under the impression that after the incident in a New Rochelle,
Yeah.
that the car was recovered or
Yeah,
they got it back.
Well, where's the car now?
I don't know. And he's out of the picture. So if you were elected mayor, you would make sure that Mr. Spezio is completely out of the picture?
When elected mayor, day one, Spezio, I don't have to worry about getting him out of the picture. He will already be gone because he knows our relationship. And our relationship is you don't belong here, period. And he has made a mockery of our police force. He has embarrassed our city time and time again. And he has to go. He should not be in this city. He needs to go back to where he came from, but not in Mount Vernon.
But
And
then
I'm clear about that.
the question then would be, why is he still involved?
That's a good question, and that's a question you should sit down with the mayor and ask. I've been asking that for a very long time. I've had a press conference in front of the police station too, asking that question. This is a man that threatened to kill me, okay, and brought to the attention, and even on video at times, okay, and brought up to the mayor, but the mayor can't do anything. This is a man that interferes with cases and cover up things in the police station, and the mayor can't get rid of him. This is a man that the mayor chose over Bob Kelly, Commissioner Kelly, who is a stand-up guy, but you chose him. You chose him over Fatigate. When Fatigate tried to straighten out the police department, you chose Spezio over Harris when he tried to straighten it out. There is a saying, okay? When my mother used to tell me this, it comes to you later on in life. And she says, when you're on a journey through life, and everybody that you pass by in your journey smells like bad cabbage, you should stop and smell yourself. So these are the old Jamaican sayings that my mother would say with a lot of different things. That this is the point. Okay, when is it the mayor? And when has he taken responsibility for anything that has ever happened in this city? What kind of leader has never taken responsibility for anything? It's always somebody else's fault. Spezio is his fault. Okay, he can't get rid of this man, and I wonder why.
But you are a very bright man. And I'm sure, and I am sure that you have a theory behind the why.
Absolutely.
You must have.
I have several theories.
So can you throw us one?
Well, I'm not going to throw them out there. We're going to wait and see how they pop out sooner or later.
Okay, fair enough. I asked, and you have the option to answer. So sooner or later, we will know the answer for this.
Well, we will know. Keep your eyes on the courts. Yeah.
No, Mr. Council President, we have some people watching, and a lot of people are going to be watching this interview. Probably not right now, but they will be watching, and
Right.
some people are already commenting. Tell us why I should vote for you. I know that in the beginning you said it, but tell us why, and also emphasize on the importance of coming out and voting on the 25th of June. Because a lot of people talk, but when voting day comes, they stay home.
Yeah.
And then they expect things change.
You're right. Well, why is because Mount Vernon needs responsible leadership. Okay, Mount Vernon needs someone who puts, the people first. And in the past, that hasn't been done. It's really just called, service before self. And that's what you get with Councilman Wallace as I move into a mayor's position. So this is something that I've demonstrated time and time again in my position now as council president, and I will demonstrate the same integrity and works that I do as mayor. People need trust. They need to trust their government. They haven't been able to trust the Mount Vernon government for quite some time. That when you have conversations with me, what you see is what you get, and I'm a straight shooter. And most people already know, because everything I've said when I came in as being councilman is what I've done. And most people who knew me before know I haven't changed a bit. So you just need somebody who can work with others, who is respected by others, okay, and smart businessman, and somebody who could turn around our city. Because I try to tell people Mount Vernon is still a corporation. Everybody who owns a home in Mount Vernon, okay, is a shareholder of this corporation of Mount Vernon. You want a CEO that knows how to make sure that at the end of the year, okay, on your home and on your investments, you're getting a dividend, okay, and not a loss. So that you need somebody who understands those things.
Now, let's just take a step back. I need to rewind these and talk about the economy just for just for a few more minutes. I'm one of those that believe that government does not create jobs, but the government creates the right ambiance.
Correct.
So investors would come in and create jobs in my city, in my country, or whatever.
Right.
I understand that you're saying that you are a job creator, but
right.
Now tell us, what are your plans, concrete plans, to make Mount Vernon a city that I, as an investor, want to invest in and create jobs? What would you do different?
Well, you have to have partnerships with companies that's coming in and create that kind of partnership. First of all, you want to, those businesses that are here are small businesses, which is usually the fabric of America. A lot of these small businesses that make up a lot of the jobs. You want to be able to work with them as well and assist them, because their success is our success. People coming into the city, you want to give a hand and work with them as well for growth. You want to make sure that their permits are going through quickly, that there's that all of these things are working together, that there's signage, so when they come and open up, they don't have a tough time going through a building department, going through all of these different things to get the business open. So you want to become business friendly, as friendly as possible, to make sure, because like I said, all of the successful businesses that come in hire people. Okay, and that creates, like I said, a better city. When you look at things like Silicon Valley and all these other places that you would have, business is set up there, and then from business, people start to get employed, and then after they're all employed, then you can start to work on housing, because people don't want to commute so far anymore. But fill what we have first, take care of all of that and those needs, and then we could start to grow from there.
Well, that's a plan to bring business in. Now I'm going to tell you the other side of the coin, something that I have heard on the street.
Yeah.
But what will the city do to retain those businesses that are already here? I see plans, okay,
right.
Bring new businesses in, create incentives of this and that, but there is a lot of people that are already here and been in Mount Vernon for a long time, going through a hardship because of taxes or whatever, and they might be thinking about closing down those businesses because they cannot afford it. What would you do to retain and help those small businesses so they don't leave the city of Malvern?
Well, we need a business development center based out of City Hall for those businesses struggling, because every business is going to be unique to itself and it's going to be different. You have to still sit down with them and find out what each one of those businesses is going to need. There's no just blanket across that we can say one fits all. It's not a cookie.
Correct.
So you have to have that business relationship and that business services that comes out of City Halls that assists these folks, because whatever those needs are, we need to meet those needs, because you want to keep business here, you want to keep the businesses open, and make sure that they flourish, because like I said, our success relies on their success. And we must always remember that, because if businesses is booming in Mount Vernon is booming.
Correct. You are a very successful businessman. You're from Mount Vernon.
Yes.
What was the secret?
The secret is actually getting involved and working with others, and the willingness to do it. And that is something that I was saying before about putting service before self. In my business in construction, I knew that as a minority contractor, MBE, DBE, all these different things, when I would go to different places, I would notice that I'm one of the few minority contractors. And I would see that there was not a lot of minorities involved in the construction industry at that time, which is a very lucrative business. Many of them were workers. You would have workers, but a lot of them were business owners. So when I got a chance to really figure out how to do this and how to assist others, I started assisting a lot of others in getting opening up their business, because I'm saying, hey, sometimes it's time to put down the hammer and you could hire more people and open up a business and put it together. So I started out helping a lot of people open up the business, get certified as an MBE. I was very involved in that, making sure that minorities are successful. And then from there, I started to say, okay, these companies that I helped open needed employees. Then I started training employees to the point where I end up opening the construction school in Mount Vernon, which is the first construction school in Mount Vernon that's accredited school. So when you go through those my programs with NCCER, you do get college credits for those particular things. It's the same training guidelines and on the same thing with the unions. So you can train in this program, which I would get funded by a lot of other contractors and people, and I would put up my own money and we would fund these programs for these kids, put them through, and then with the partnership of other companies, we would place them in jobs. So it worked. They would go into unions, they would go into many other places. Some of them even went from the construction program right into college. So we were able to do that too.
That's the secret for your success.
Yes, because once again, my success comes from their success. You see, making them successful. The more people we can make successful, and this is my philosophy in life, the more people I can make successful, or the more businesses that I could turn into multi-million-dollar businesses, is a blessing for me. So you get your blessings by making sure you can bless others to get theirs.
Good statement. Now, before we end this, let me just ask you, the majority of your employees
Yes.
are from the city of Mount Vernon?
Yes.
Is that a fair assumption?
That's a very fair assumption. Yeah.
But you also have people from outside Mount Vernon, if you cannot fill those positions with people from Mount Vernon. Would that also be a fair assumption?
That is very fair, because I have a saying, Mount Vernon first.
Mount Vernon first.
Mount Vernon first.
But you go beyond just the saying.
Yes, absolutely, because I do it, it's so funny how people already say, hey, you want to go here, you want to do this, why you... my focus is on my community. Mount Vernon is my community. I want to see it change. Like I tell everybody, with the Wallace administration, we will no longer be the tail, we will be the head of Westchester. And when we sneeze, everybody will catch cold, because that is how important Mount Vernon will be. That is how great Mount Vernon will be. We have the greatest piece of property in all of Westchester. We all know that. What we do with it is the next step and what's going to be important. I think Mount Vernon's better days is on its way. I think with a Wallace administration, I believe and I know with a Wallace administration, things is going to change around. And it's going to be a very exciting time for all of Mount Vernon.
Okay, just before we end, Mr. Wallace, take this opportunity maybe to say something that I forgot to ask you, but you want to bring it up. Is there anything that I should have asked, but I didn't? This is it. Please.
Well, I think you covered a lot of things, unless there was something else you had. But like I said, coming out on June 25th, Tuesday, is going to be a very important day for the city of Mount Vernon. It's going to be a special day. It's going to be a chance that people who are coming out to vote can change the course of Mount Vernon, of the direction in which it has been going, to a direction that'll take it into success. So it's important that everybody gets involved with this election, okay, and vote Andre Wallace, because when you vote Andre Wallace, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a better city. You're going to get a better life. You're going to get a better quality of living. And I leave it up to others to come out and hear what I have to say. Come to the debates. If you have time, you could visit one of my campaign offices. We have one on Broad Street, 7 Broad Street, and we have another one on 1st Street, 34 East 1st Street. Just drop in and get all your questions answered.
That was going to be my last question. If we were to organize a debate between the top contenders for this mayoral position, would you be willing to participate on the debate?
Absolutely. I've already confirmed to be at the Fleetwood debates that they have all the time, which of Fleetwood Society. So I've confirmed that, and there'll be a couple of other debates. So I look forward to these debates because I know all of the other people that are running on the slate doesn't have the experience or the knowledge, and I look forward to debating them because I know they don't. So when we get a chance to have that, people will really see, who understands government, who works within the government, and who can get the job done.
Well, guys, you heard it from Mr. Andrew Wallace, Malvern Council President and also Mayor Hopeful. So you make the decision. As always, Yonkers Voice does not support or endorse any candidate. Our only goal and agenda is to let you know, the audience, who is who, where they stand, so you can make an educated decision on who deserves your vote. So stay tuned for more.
Yeah. Thank you.